Hello guys. Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the issue that is about to send shockwaves through Port Charles once again, an explosive blend of secrets, betrayal, motherhood, and courtroom warfare that is quickly redefining the lives of the Corinthos family and those closest to them. As the dust settles from a life-threatening delivery and a custody war reaches its boiling point, the truth is finally beginning to unravel. But at what cost? Sasha Corbin has just given birth to a healthy baby girl under extraordinary circumstances, with the child's birth occurring right in the middle of the courtroom. Everyone, including the judge, the attorneys, and the family members involved, witnessed the raw and emotional event that led to a temporary pause in the custody hearing between Michael Corinthos and Willow Tate. But beyond the miracle of new life, something far more complex and dangerous lies beneath the surface, a secret that could not only destroy Michael's chances in court, but completely shatter the fragile peace between him and Willow. As it currently stands, everyone believes the newborn child Sasha delivered belongs to Jason Morgan. Jason had stepped up publicly and accepted paternity of the baby, offering to be the father figure in the child's life. His move was strategic, meant to protect Michael from further scrutiny during his heated custody battle with Willow over Wiley and Amelia. Jason's involvement was seen as an act of loyalty, a final attempt to shield Michael from losing everything in the courtroom. His credibility, his past with Sasha, and his protective instincts made the cover story believable. The legal teams, the judge, and most importantly Willow accepted this explanation without hesitation. Jason was the father, or so they thought. However, behind closed doors, the truth is far more complicated. In reality, Michael is the biological father of Sasha's baby girl. Their relationship, once a deeply private affair, had resulted in a pregnancy that was never publicly acknowledged out of fear, out of convenience, and out of strategy. With the court case intensifying and Willow threatening to win sole custody, Michael and Sasha had agreed to keep the truth buried. Jason, ever the loyal enabler, agreed to step into the role to protect Michael's future as a father to Wiley and Amelia. It was a plan forged in desperation, held together by fragile trust, and destined to fall apart the moment anyone overheard the wrong conversation. And that moment has now arrived. Unbeknownst to Michael and Sasha, Willow had returned to the hospital after the courtroom ordeal to check on Sasha. Her role in the emergency delivery had left her emotionally tied to the mother and newborn, and she wanted to make sure Sasha was recovering well. But when she arrived outside Sasha's room, she heard Michael's voice through the partially open door. At first, she paused, hesitant to intrude on a private moment. But what she heard next froze her in place. Michael's words were unmistakable, his tone raw and sincere as he confessed everything to Sasha, that he was the real father of the baby, that Jason had taken the fall to protect him, that he never meant for things to spiral out of control. Willow stood there in stunned silence. Every word shattered her understanding of the situation. Her hands trembled as she instinctively reached for her phone, hit the record button, and captured the tail end of the conversation, Mitchell's quiet insistence that the truth would never come out, and Sasha's anxious agreement. It was a confession, caught on audio, and for Willow, it was ammunition she never expected to have. The betrayal ran deep. This wasn't just about a hidden paternity, it was about the manipulation of the legal system, the deliberate misinformation given to the court, and the emotional upheaval she had endured believing she was battling for her children against a man who was honest, if nothing else. And now, with one simple recording, Willow held the power to destroy Michael's case. The very man who had once promised her transparency and cooperation was the same man who had hidden the truth and lied by omission. In her mind, a storm began to brew. Should she bring the recording to her attorney and present it in court? Should she expose Michael and Jason for their deceit, paint them both as manipulators willing to mislead a judge to keep control of their children? Should she take the high road or wield the weapon now resting in her phone's memory? Her heart raced as she replayed the conversation again and again, each time feeling the sting of betrayal more sharply. But just as Willow's mind began racing toward vengeance, fate intervened. Later that same day, Michael approached Willow with a completely different demeanor. Exhausted, emotionally drained, and moved by what had transpired between Willow and Sasha during the birth, Michael confessed something else, something Willow had not anticipated. He told her that he no longer wanted to fight. The courtroom had become a battlefield that neither of them needed, and their children deserved better. With his voice low and honest, Michael declared that he would no longer contest custody. He would willingly sign over primary custody of Wiley and Amelia to Willow. This revelation struck Willow like lightning. Michael spoke not with resentment or guilt, but with genuine admiration. He told her that she was a remarkable mother, someone who had stepped up not only for their children, but for Sasha as well. He said that anyone who could deliver a baby under those conditions and still come back to check on the mother was someone who clearly deserved to raise Wiley and Amelia with the compassion and stability they needed. He didn't want to fight anymore. He believed Willow would raise them right, and he trusted her to keep him involved in their lives as much as she saw fit. Willow was caught off guard. Here was the very man she had planned to ambush in court, handing her everything she wanted: custody, peace, and a chance to raise their children without further turmoil. And yet, in her purse, her phone still buzzed with the weight of the secret she had uncovered. The contradiction of the moment was almost too much to bear. What had begun as a calculated lie to protect Michael's parental rights had now turned into a display of humility and maturity. Michael's willingness to let go, perhaps inspired by the gravity of new life, or maybe by witnessing Willow's strength firsthand, transferred the narrative entirely. And in that moment, Willow faced a profound dilemma. Should she still go forward with the recording? Should she expose Michael now that he had stepped aside with grace? Ultimately, the decision would rest on Willow's shoulders, but her silence in that moment said more than words ever could. She accepted Michael's offer not out of victory, but out of respect. The war was over. The secrets, though still lingering just beneath the surface, seemed smaller in the light of what they had just survived. The life of a newborn child, the raw truth between them, and unspoken understanding that forgiveness might be the only way forward. Back in the hospital room, Sasha held her daughter in her arms, unaware of the magnitude of what had just taken place. She had feared the consequences of the truth coming out for weeks, dreaded what it would mean for Michael, for Jason, and for her newborn daughter. But in that moment, peace had settled. She was safe. Her child was safe. And despite everything, despite the lies, the legal battles, the personal sacrifice, life had found a way to move forward. As the episode came to a close, Port Charles stood on the edge of yet another shift. Relationships would be tested. Loyalties would be questioned. But for now, a fragile peace had been achieved. Michael, having relinquished the custody fight, had unknowingly saved himself from public exposure. Willow, armed with the truth but tempered by grace, chose to let the moment define her path rather than the bitterness of betrayal. And Sasha, with her child in her arms, quietly began the next chapter of her life, surrounded by the very people she once feared would turn against her. This is General Hospital, where truth, deception, love, and redemption all live side by side. And as we look ahead to the next week, the question remains, will the peace hold? Or will the weight of the secret Michael and Sasha share eventually come crashing down? Next, we will dive deep into the emotional roller coaster surrounding Brook Lynn and the shocking revelation about her son, Joe Palmieri. This heart-wrenching storyline has taken fans by storm as secrets unravel, relationships are tested, and the future of Brook Lynn's family hangs in the balance. From her initial dreams of adoption with her loving husband, Harrison Chase, to the devastating lies spun by her own mother, Lois Trullo, we'll explore every twist and turn of this gripping saga. Buckle up as we unpack the layers of betrayal, hope, and heartbreak, while adding fresh perspectives and intriguing possibilities to this unfolding drama. A shocking truth rocks Brook Lynn's world. The foundation of Brook Lynn's life has been shattered with the bombshell news that Joe Palmieri, a young man she never suspected, is actually her biological son. For years, Brook Lynn believed her child had been lost to circumstances beyond her control, only to discover that her mother, Lois Trullo, orchestrated a web of deception surrounding Gio's so-called adoption. The pain of this betrayal cuts deep, as Brook Lynn grapples with the reality that her own flesh and blood grew up without her, under a false narrative. This revelation has not only rocked her emotionally but also thrown her plans for the future into chaos. She and her devoted husband, Harrison Chase, had been eagerly discussing adopting a child together, a dream born out of love and a desire to build a family despite Chase's recent discovery of his infertility. Now, with Gio's identity laid bare, Brook Lynn finds herself questioning every decision she's made, her heart torn between past regrets and the uncertain path ahead. Adding to the complexity, Brook Lynn can't help but replay the countless moments she might have unknowingly crossed paths with Joe, each memory now tinged with a bittersweet ache. Was there a subtle familiarity in his eyes she missed? Did her maternal instincts try to whisper the truth over the years? As these questions swirl in her mind, her trust in her mother has been irrevocably damaged, leaving her to wonder if she can ever forgive Lois for robbing her of precious time with her son. Meanwhile, her longing to connect with Joe grows stronger each day, even as she fears he may never fully accept her as his mother due to the years of separation and lies. Harrison Chase offers unwavering support amidst the storm. In the wake of this staggering news, Harrison Chase stands as Brook Lynn's rock, though he, too, is navigating his own emotional turmoil. Understanding the gravity of her discovery, Chase wisely steps back from their adoption plans, giving Brook Lynn the space she desperately needs to process the fact that Joe is her child. His sensitivity shines through as he recognizes that her mind is consumed with the years of deception she endured at the hands of her mother. While Chase's heart aches for the family they dreamed of creating together, he knows that pushing this issue now would only add to her burden. Instead, he remains a quiet pillar of strength, offering her late-night conversations over cups of chamomile tea and gentle reassurances that they'll face this together, no matter how long it takes. Yet, beneath his supportive exterior, Chase wrestles with his own quiet fears. He wonders if Brook Lynn's newfound connection to Joe might eclipse their plans for adoption entirely. Could this unexpected reunion shift her priorities in ways he isn't prepared for? As he watches her pore over old photographs, searching for traces of herself in Joe's features, Chase can't help but feel a pang of uncertainty about where he fits into this evolving puzzle. Still, his love for Brook Lynn holds firm, and he resolves to wait patiently, hoping that with time, they can rebuild their shared vision for the future, even if it looks different from what they once imagined. A tentative return to the adoption conversation. As the initial shock begins to dull into a lingering ache, Chase gently broaches the subject of adoption once more, hoping to gauge where Brook Lynn stands after weeks of emotional upheaval. He chooses his moment carefully, perhaps during a quiet evening walk along Port Charles' scenic waterfront, where the calming rhythm of the waves might ease the tension of such a heavy topic. However, Brook Lynn's response is hesitant, her words laced with unresolved pain as she admits she's still not ready to move forward. The thought of adopting a child while her relationship with Joe remains fragile feels like an impossible burden to bear. Chase, ever empathetic, nods with understanding, assuring her that there's no rush and that her healing comes first, even as his own longing for fatherhood simmers beneath the surface. In the days that follow, Brook Lynn finds herself daydreaming about what a bond with Joe could look like: shared laughter over music, teaching him the family traditions she holds dear, or simply hearing him call her mom for the first time. These fleeting hopes fuel her determination to keep reaching out to him, even if he's not yet ready to embrace her as family. She writes him letters she may never send, pouring out her regrets and dreams, hoping that one day he'll understand the depth of her love. Meanwhile, Chase watches this quiet struggle, torn between supporting her outreach to Joe and wondering if their dream of adopting will ever resurface in her heart. Brook Lynn's heart-wrenching decision against adoption. After much soul-searching, Brook Lynn reaches a painful but resolute conclusion: she can no longer pursue adoption. The emotional scars left by her separation from Joe run too deep, and the idea of another child potentially experiencing the same confusion or loss she endured feels unbearable. She imagines the countless nights she spent wondering where her baby was, if they were safe, loved, or happy, torment she wouldn't wish on anyone. This decision isn't made lightly. It's the culmination of sleepless nights and tearful reflections in the solitude of her home, where she is often found staring out the window, lost in thought. For Brook Lynn, closing the door on adoption feels like the only way to honor the raw and resolve grief tied to Joe's absence in her life. This choice also forces her to confront the fear of how it will impact her marriage. She knows Chase has been patiently holding on to hope for a child of their own, and the weight of potentially disappointing him gnaws at her. To prepare for the inevitable conversation, she rehearses her words in front of the mirror, trying to find a way to soften the blow while staying true to her feelings. She even considers seeking advice from a close friend like Maxie Jones, hoping for insight on how to navigate such a delicate moment. Yet, deep down, Brook Lynn knows there's no easy way to deliver this news, and the uncertainty of Chase's reaction looms large over her heart. breaking the devastating news to Harris and Chase. When the moment finally arrives, Brook Lynn sits Chase down in their cozy living room, the flicker of a nearby candle casting soft shadows as she gathers the courage to speak. With a trembling voice, she explains that adoption is no longer an option for her, detailing how her experience with Joe has reshaped her perspective on family in ways she never anticipated. Each word feels heavier than the last as she watches Chase's face, searching for signs of understanding amidst the inevitable pain. His dream of fatherhood, which once seemed so tangible, crumbles before him, leaving a void that words can't easily fill. Though he nods slowly, acknowledging her reasoning, the hurt in his eyes is unmistakable, a silent testament to the future he'd envisioned slipping away. Chase, for his part, grapples with a storm of emotions: disappointment, empathy, and a lingering fear that their paths may be diverging. He loves Brook Lynn fiercely, but the realization that their visions for the future might no longer align strikes him like a physical blow. In the days that follow, he throws himself into work at the PCPD, using long shifts to distract from the ache in his chest. While Brook Lynn finds unexpected solace in conversations with Dante Falconeri. As co-parents to a child they share, Dante offers a unique perspective, and their late-night talks at Kelly's over cups of coffee deepen their bond, stirring whispers of complication in an already fragile situation. Could this growing closeness threaten to further strain her marriage to Chase? The uncertain future of Brook Lynn and Chase's marriage. As the dust settles on Brook Lynn's decision, the couple faces the daunting question of whether their love can withstand this seismic shift in their relationship. Chase remains committed to Brook Lynn, but the unspoken tension between them grows, manifesting in small, telling waste-missed glances, conversations that trail off into silence, and a once warm home that now feels a touch colder. He begins to wonder if he can truly let go of his dream of fatherhood, or if resentment might creep in over time, despite his best intentions. Meanwhile, Brook Lynn senses his struggle and feels the weight of guilt, questioning if she's asking too much of him to sacrifice such a fundamental desire. Adding another layer of intrigue, Brook Lynn's evolving connection with Dante raises eyebrows among their circle in Port Charles. While their interactions are rooted in shared parental experiences with Joe, the emotional intimacy of their discussions begins to blur lines, prompting speculation about whether old feelings could resurface. For now, Brook Lynn remains focused on repairing her bond with Joe, attending his violin recitals in hopes of catching a fleeting smile, while Chase quietly wrestles with how to move forward. Can they redefine their marriage on new terms, finding a shared purpose beyond the family they once planned? Or will these diverging dreams and unexpected connections pull them apart? A community watches and wonders. The drama surrounding Brook Lynn and Chase doesn't go unnoticed in the tight-knit world of Port Charles. Friends like Carly Spencer and Sam McCall offer their support, each bringing their own perspectives on family and sacrifice, while others, like Nina Reeves, can't resist stirring the pot with whispered gossip about Brook Lynn's closeness to Dante. As rumors swirl, the couple faces not only their private struggles but also the public scrutiny that comes with life in a small town where everyone knows everyone's business. Through it all, Brook Lynn holds onto a flicker of hope that Joe might one day embrace her as his mother, while Chase seeks solace in long talks with his brother, Finn, searching for clarity on how to honor both his love for Brook Lynn and his own unmet dreams. So, what do you think, dear fans? Will Brook Lynn ever reconsider adoption, or has her experience with Joe closed that chapter for good? How will Chase cope with this devastating shift in their plans, and can their marriage weather this storm? Could Dandy's presence in Brook Lynn's life spell trouble, or is it merely a supportive friendship born of shared history? Next, we will uncover the shadowy depths of Anna Devane's latest investigation into the enigmatic Professor Henry Dalton. As secrets simmer beneath the surface in Port Charles, Anna's razor-sharp instincts lead her down a path of deception, danger, and unexpected revelations. Despite the cunning attempts of WSB agent Jack Brennan to throw her off the scent, Anna refuses to be swayed, diving headfirst into a mystery that could shake the very foundations of trust among those closest to her. From Dalton's questionable ethics to whispers of hidden WSB operatives, this storyline promises twists at every turn. Join us as we explore the intricate layers of this unfolding drama, weaving in fresh details and intriguing possibilities that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Anna's instincts clash with Jack Brennan's deception. In a game of cat and mouse that could rival any spy thriller, WSB agent Jack Brennan pulls out all the stops to mislead Anna Devane, employing his finely honed skills of manipulation and gaslighting. With a silver tongue and a poker face that could fool even the most seasoned investigator, Brennan attempts to paint a harmless picture of Professor Henry Dalton, dismissing any concerns as mere misunderstandings. Yet, Anna's years of experience as a former WSB operative are not so easily undermined. Her gut tells her something is amiss, and she's not one to ignore the prickling sensation of danger, especially when it concerns someone close to her granddaughter, Emma. As she sits across from Brennan in a dimly lit office at the WSB headquarters, his smooth assurances only heighten her suspicion, each word seeming to conceal more than it reveals. Anna's unease grows as she recalls fleeting, cryptic comments Emma has made about her professor over family dinners at the Metro Court. There was a hesitation in her voice, a flicker of discomfort in her eyes that Anna couldn't quite place at the time. Now, those moments replay in her mind like warning signals she can't ignore. She knows Brennan is a master at spinning webs of half-truths, having tangled with him in the past over covert operations gone awry. Determined not to let his theatrics cloud her judgment, Anna resolves to trust her instincts over his honeyed words, setting the stage for a personal mission to uncover the real story behind Dalton, a mission that could unearth far more than she bargained for in the heart of Port Charles. Unraveling the mystery of Professor Henry Dalton. As Anna embarks on her independent investigation into Professor Henry Dalton, the renowned physicist begins to emerge as a figure cloaked in contradictions. On the surface, Dalton is a celebrated academic, lauded for groundbreaking research that has garnered international acclaim. Yet, whispers of a darker side persist, fueled by Emma's troubling accounts of unethical experiments involving animal testing in his university lab. Anna, ever the skeptic, pores over dusty WSB files late into the night, her desk littered with coffee cups and scribbled notes as she searches for inconsistencies. The documentation provided by the agency is suspiciously sparse, with gaps in Dalton's history that raise immediate red flags. Key dates are missing, funding sources are vaguely attributed, and certain reports seem almost too polished, as if crafted to deflect scrutiny. Digging deeper, Anna uncovers rumors circulating among academic circles in Port Charles that Dalton may have been involved in off-the-books projects, ones that skirts ethical boundaries far beyond animal testing. Could he be linked to clandestine research with implications for national security? She recalls a hushed conversation overheard at a recent university gala, where a colleague hinted at Dalton's late-night lab sessions and unexplained visitors. Fueled by these breadcrumbs, Anna discreetly reaches out to an old contact from her WSB days, a tech-savvy informant who might help trace Dalton's financial trails. Her determination to protect Emma from any potential danger drives her forward, even as she senses that the deeper she digs, the more perilous the terrain becomes. Emma's connection, closer than Anna realizes. As Anna's investigation gains momentum, a nagging thought begins to take root. Could Emma be more entangled in Dalton's world than she's let on? Initially, Emma's complaints about her professor seemed like typical student frustration, grievance about unfair grading or rigid expectations. But Anna now questions the story of Emma's expulsion from her previous school, a tale that felt rehearsed when first recounted over a tense family lunch at Kelly's. The WSB file on the incident is riddled with inconsistencies, with conflicting dates and vague justifications that don't add up. Anna can't shake the image of Emma fidgeting nervously when asked about Dalton, her usual confidence replaced by an uncharacteristic reticence that hints at unspoken truths. Adding to her unease, Anna uncovers a cryptic email exchange on a burner account linked indirectly to Emma, discovered through her informant's digital sleuthing. The messages allude to meetings and assignments that seem far removed from typical student activities. Could Emma have been drawn into Dalton's orbit under false pretenses, perhaps as part of a larger scheme? Anna wrestles with the possibility that her granddaughter might be hiding something significant, perhaps out of fear or misplaced loyalty. Determined to get answers without alarming her, Anna plans a casual coffee date at the campus cafe, hoping to gently probe Emma's true feelings about Dalton while observing her body language for clues. The thought of Emma being in over her head gnaws at Anna, pushing her to tread carefully between protector and investigator. Shocking revelations, WSB secrets surface. The deeper Anna delves into Dalton's murky past, the more she stumbles upon secrets that extend beyond the professor himself, threatening to upend her understanding of those around her. Late-night surveillance outside Dalton's lab reveals unexpected visitors slipping in under the cover of darkness, their movements calculated to be mere students or colleagues. With the help of her tech contact, Anna traces one of these figures to a WSB training database, leading to a jaw-dropping possibility: could Jocelyn Jacks, a familiar face in Port Charles, be operating as a covert WSB agent? The idea seems far-fetched at first. Jocelyn, with her fiery spirit and college life, hardly fits the profile of a trained operative. Yet, grainy footage of her entering a restricted area near Dalton's office suggests there's more to her story than meets the eye. But the surprises don't end there. As Anna cross-references coded communications intercepted near the university, another name emerges in connection to the WSB MMA herself. Could her granddaughter, the bright young woman Anna has always seen as a beacon of innocence, be entangled in the agency's web? The evidence is circumstantial but mounting: burner phone records, odd absences during key events, and a cryptic note found in Emma's dorm referencing protocol. Anna's heart sinks as she considers that Emma might have been recruited under Dalton's influence, possibly as a pawn in a larger game of espionage. Torn between pride in Emma's potential capabilities and dread over her safety, Anna resolves to confront the WSB directly, knowing that such a move could put her own past under scrutiny but willing to let her family remain in the dark. Dalton's true agenda, a threat beyond imagination. With each piece of the puzzle Anna uncovers, it becomes increasingly clear that Professor Dalton is no mere academic with a penchant for unethical experiments. Whispers from her network suggest he may be spearheading a covert operation involving experimental technology, potentially weaponized under the guise of scientific advancement. A leaked memo, obtained through a risky exchange with an anonymous source at the university, hints at Dalton collaborating with rogue elements within the WSB itself, using his position to access restricted resources. The implications are chilling. Could his research endanger not just Port Charles but global security? Anna envisions late-night tests in hidden labs, far from prying eyes, where Dalton tinkers with forces he may not fully control. As she pieces together this sinister picture, Anna also uncovers ties between Dalton and international black market dealers, suggesting his shady side extends into a criminal underworld she's all too familiar with from her WSB days. She recalls a past mission where similar technology was weaponized with devastating consequences, fueling her urgency to stop Dalton before history repeats itself. Meanwhile, the potential involvement of Jocelyn and Emma adds a personal stake to the investigation, as Anna fears they could be collateral damage in Dalton's schemes. She begins discreetly tailing Dalton, blending into the bustling campus crowds in a scarf and sunglasses, all while coordinating with trusted allies like Robert Scorpio to build a case strong enough to expose him before it's too late. Navigating a web of trust and betrayal. Caught in a labyrinth of deception, Anna faces the daunting task of discerning ally from adversary as her investigation reaches a critical juncture. Jack Brennan's persistent interference suggests he's protecting more than just Dalton. Could he be shielding a broader conspiracy within the WSB? Anna's past clashes with Brennan resurface in her mind, each memory a reminder of his willingness to bend the truth for the agency's so-called greater good. Meanwhile, her concern for Emma and Jocelyn weighs heavily, as she grapples with how to approach them without shattering their trust. Late at night, she sits alone in her study, a glass of untouched wine beside her, mapping out a strategy to confront Dalton while safeguarding her loved ones from the fallout. The Port Charles community begins to take notice of Anna's relentless pursuit, with figures like Carly Spencer offering unsolicited advice over brunch at the Metro Court, urging her to tread carefully with the WSB's shadowy politics. Others, like Sonny Corinthos, express concern that her probing might stir up old enemies from her espionage days, putting a target on her back. Through it all, Anna remains undeterred, fueled by a fierce determination to protect her family and uncover the truth, no matter the personal cost. As she prepares for a high-stakes meeting with a whistleblower who claims to have insider knowledge on Dalton's plans, Anna braces herself for revelations that could change everything. What lies ahead in Port Charles? As Anna Devane inches closer to the heart of Professor Dalton's secrets, the stakes in Port Charles have never been higher. Will she expose his true agenda before his dangerous experiments spiral out of control? What role do Jocelyn and Emma play in this tangled web? And can Emma protect them from the consequences of their potential WSB ties? And how will Jack Brennan retaliate as his carefully constructed facade begins to crumble under Anna's scrutiny? The road ahead promises more shocks, betrayals, and heart-pounding moments as this mystery unfolds. What do you think, loyal viewers? Will Anna uncover the full extent of Dalton's schemes, or is she walking into a trap set by the WSB? Could Emma and Jocelyn truly be agents in training, or are they unwitting pawns in a deadly game? Drop your theories and predictions in the comments below, and stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers for the latest updates on this electrifying storyline. We can't wait to see how Anna navigates the dangerous waters ahead.